Shalom Aleichem, this is Rabbi Kovacs. The Mishnah Yomi is continuing in the second chapter of Beitzah, the second Mishnah for Chet B'Av, Erev Tisha B'Av. Bezrat Hashem will be in Yerushalayim tomorrow with building a temple. If not, I'm going to try to pre-record the Mishnah for Tisha B'Av so we can learn in advance. Yesterday we mentioned when Yom Tov is Friday, Erev Shabbat. Now, Mishnah Bet, Chaliot Achar Shabbat. What if Yom Tov is the day after Shabbat? So here cooking is not the issue because you can cook. You can even do shechita on Yom Tov for the needs of Yom Tov. The issue here is on Yom Tov, we Bezrat Hashem go up to the temple in Yerushalayim. We bring karbanot, but you have to be tahor. You have to be ritually purified to go into the temple. Your kalim need to be ritually purified. If you're going to eat your karban chagiga, your ola, your karban riyah is an ola, but the chagiga was eaten by people, so shlomim. So your kalim, your forks and knives, your plates need to be tahor also. So obviously, everyone and everything that's going to be involved in Yom Tov needs to go to the mikveh. So Beit Shammai omrim matzbilin et hakol milifnei Shabbat. They say you can't go to the mikveh on Shabbat, which is Erev Yom Tov. You need to go on Friday. Beit Hillel omrim, Beit Hillel says kelim milifnei Shabbat. Yes, your kelim need to go to the mikveh before Shabbat starts, when you're going to have Yom Tov on a Sunday, because it looks like tikkun. It looks like fixing when you have a kli that was tameh and you couldn't use it. You put it in the mikveh, and no physical change occurred, Rabbi say, but there's a spiritual change has occurred. Now you can use it. That's like tikkun maneh, so the rabbi said you should not do that. Va'adam b'Shabbat. But a person could go to the mikveh on Shabbat, even though this person is tameh now, tameh sheretz, for instance, and he needs to become tahor to go to the temple tomorrow on Yom Tov. The reason being, a person going into a mikveh doesn't necessarily look like a tikkun. It could be warm out, he's going to cool off, he could be shvitzi, he wants to rinse off the shvitz, so it looks like hana also for him. Now on to Mishnah Gimel v'shavin, and they're equal, they agree. Shemashikin et hamayim b'kli even l'taharan, that we kiss the water in a stone vessel to purify it. Now this is a very interesting detail about Hilchot of Tumah and Tahara, that water itself, being a liquid, a mashke, a beverage, can become contaminated, can become tameh, but mayim is the only beverage, the only food or liquid that can become tahor. And the way it becomes tahor is what we call hamshaka, causing a kiss. You could lower down, your water bottle of tameh water into a mikveh, which is pure water, and when the liquids kiss together, they just barely touch, then that water in the bottle becomes tahor. And our sages say that Torah itself is compared to water. And we recall from Rabbi Akiva learning that the water drop by drop can etch into the stone. That was his inspiration for learning. And we have a concept also, ein divrei Torah mekablim tuma, that actual words of Torah don't become tameh. Now, the interesting idea here is if somebody's walking around with Torah thoughts in his head, but they get a little bit confused, by other influences, by other thoughts that are not of a Torah source, that one can always fix this by immersing himself completely in Torah again, in real Torah, can purify his own thoughts and desires and midos. So back to the Mishnah. The Mishnah says use a stone vessel. Stone is not mekabel tuma. Avolo matbilin, but don't be matbilit normally, like in a wooden vessel or a water skin or something like this, because then it looks like you're doing the immersion to be metaken to purify the vessel. A stone vessel doesn't look like you're purifying anything because it never got tameh in the first place, but the other vessels they could. So you have to use a stone when you're doing hamshaka, the kissing purification of the water. Matbilin me gav legav. You can do Tevilah from one level to another level. This is talking about on Yom Tov itself. We're not concerned this looks like fixing, metaken, because what's going on here is your vessel was already tahor for chulin. So you already catch your chulin oil in it, but now he realizes he wants to run a batch of truma, so he wants to upgrade the purity level from chulin to truma. So it was already tahor, it could already be used, so now he wants to upgrade this bucket so it can be used with truma, so he is allowed to do so on Yom Tov. Michabura lechabura, also from one group to another. Now this is talking about Erev Pesach, when he's bringing a karban Pesach. If the kalim from one group are now repurposed, given to a different group, they need a Tevilah. Again, Lamaisa, it was tahor, but now he's changing the status of the group. Rashi seems to understand this. This is, there's two different groups, but a person switches groups, and perhaps the people in the second group are very careful. They're all chaverim, they're very careful, so they want him to tovel his kalim before they come and eat Carbon Pesach with him. And now the Maisa is Kalim or Tahor, but they're just being careful. They're fastidious, so they wanted to Tovel. So you could go ahead and Tovel again because the Maisa was already Tahor. Yeshar Kohachem and Zagizunz.